everyone! In last week's video, we discussed about the 3 simple steps in making the Sabbath day preparation easy. Now in this video, we're going to tackle 2 important Sabbath issues. Firstly, is that we have to answer the question as to why we should seriously consider accepting God's invitation to Sabbath rest. And secondly, we are going to learn again the major reasons as to why we should set apart Sabbath day among all the other days that God has created. Now let's go with the first. The biblical creation account essentially served as a theological rebuttal of all the other gods who never allowed anyone to rest. In a restless world like ours, God required rest. Again, imagine what kind of first impression that would have given to an ancient person's understanding about God. The God of Scripture not only rests himself but invites his creations to rest with him. The impression would undoubtedly have been that God was the Lord of time. Time, it turns out, is one of the first components of the created order listed in the Genesis account, coming before any physical object such as light, animals, or humanity. God's entire creative action in making everything signifies not only his sovereignty, lordship, and authority over creation, but also his sovereignty over time. But what kind of time frame does God create? God creates a 7-day week. Genesis chapter 2, verse 2. Theologian Colin Ganton supports that the ordering of 7 days establishes a distinct relation between the present time and eternity. That is, the 7-day week was created by God to serve as a contrast to the realm of eternity in which he dwells. Consider God's invitation to rest on the 7th day. In other ancient Eastern creation myths, people were created for the purpose of being worked to the bone to accomplish the fiats of the gods. Unlike those other gods, however, God commands that humanity is to work hard and rest well. In no other creation narrative do the gods provide this kind of rest to creation. No other god gave a break. No other god carries the well-being of creation as close to the heart as did God. Sabbath is a moment of eternal glory, momentarily breaking into our finite, restless world. The 7-day week is God's brilliant creation and is not something that can or should be tinkered with, although some have tried to. In 1793, France, in an effort to increase human productivity, de-Christianized the calendar by modifying the 7-day week to a 10-day week. New clocks were even invented to reflect the revised week. The experiment, however, radically failed. Suicide rates skyrocketed, people burned out, and production decreased. Why? It turns out humans were not made to work 9 days and rest only 1 in a week. We were made to work 6 days and rest 1. The 7-day rhythm is sacred and is not the result of human ingenuity. Rather, it is a reflection of God's brilliance. In every week, 1 day is to be set aside for rest. So central to God is the ethical imperative to rest that it is established in Scripture before commands against murder, adultery, divorce, lying, incest, rape, jealousy, and child sacrifice. In fact, of the 10 commandments, Sabbath is the only command originally expressed directly to Adam and Eve. So why do we Sabbath? Genesis says we Sabbath first because God kept a Sabbath, and second, because God built it into the DNA of creation, and it is therefore something creation needs in order to flourish. As God invites us to Sabbath, we will be tempted to think that Sabbath cannot work for us. "I don't have the time to take a whole day to rest," are among people's complaint and expression so often and for many years now. Biblically, however, this is not the case. The biblical story tells us that to rest one day a week is to be truly human, and to not rest is to be inhuman. Humans were made to rest. And as the creation story reminds us, the need for rest is built into the genetic makeup of the universe, and ignorance of such is like humanity trying to genetically modify the whole universe. Even scientific communities increasingly grasp these realities. In 1974, nearly halfway through the 84-day mission aboard the Skylab space station, Colonel Polge requested a day of rest from mission control for his overworked and exhausted space crew. "We have been overscheduled. We were just hustling the whole day. The work could be tiresome and tedious, though the view is spectacular. How spectacular the view and work must have been, but even a breathtaking view from space cannot relieve the human need for rest." What happened? NASA refused his request. Subsequently, the crew went on strike in space, a first of its kind. Disobeying orders, the crew took a space Sabbath. In response, ground control was forced to change their policy. To this day, NASA now schedules time for rest on all space travel. Did you notice that, brethren? Even NASA factors in rest. We should learn from France and from the scientific community's experience that God's rhythms can never be tinkered with. God invites us to rest, and even God rests, unless we feel stronger or wiser or better than God. Diving now to our second issue, the Sabbath day is a holy day, and we are to set it apart from all the other days. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. It is the only thing God deems as holy in the creation story. The earth, space, land, stars, animals, even people are not designated as holy. Exodus chapter 20, verse 11. This holiness of the Sabbath is one of the distinctive marks of Jewish theology, but again, it is telling that there is no mention of a specific sacred place in the creation story. There is only a sacred day. While space and location are significant, it is important to note that the exact location of Eden is omitted. Yet we know that the Sabbath day is holy, and our first parents, Adam and Eve, were instructed to keep the seventh day holy. Brethren, please do not misread the text. They were not to make the Sabbath day holy. Humans cannot make anything holy. The Sabbath day's holiness is assumed. They were to keep the Sabbath day holy, which was already holy before they came to it. Now, how do we keep the Sabbath day holy? To keep it holy means consecrate, set apart, or sanctify. We are to make a distinction between the seventh day and the rest of the week. The Sabbath day is different, and we are to dedicate it wholly to the Lord. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 to 11 expounds the matter. Specific guidelines on keeping the Sabbath day holy in another video. Finally, another compelling reason why we ought to keep the Sabbath day holy is the fact that God Himself declared it as a sign of our covenant with Him and for generations to come. Exodus chapter 31, verse 13. Brethren, We hope that this video ingrained more deeply in your hearts the value of Sabbath, to rest, and to keep it holy. More importantly, let us always remember that Sabbath keeping is a sign of the covenant between us and God. And be assured that whenever we set apart Sabbath day, we are also being set apart. If you like this video, please don't forget to share with loved ones. And please don't forget to click on the subscription button for more updates from this channel. Once again, this is Donna Ozawa, and from your family here at Amazing Word Ministries, we all wish you a blessed, happy Sabbath.